Guys, for today's podcast, I'm excited to bring you the number 10 strawweight in the UFC, Loopy Godinez. She has a fight on August 3rd with Mackenzie Dern. That's going to be a crazy event. Her management team and her made it so easy for us to connect, so I'm really thankful for that, and I'm really thankful for her and her team. Without further ado, here's Loopy Godinez.
Well, the camera is not working. I don't know why.
Camera's working for me. Camera's looking good for me. It's not working for you?
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you perfectly.
Oh, I can see you. Okay, then
okay.
it's fine.
Okay, good.
But I cannot see me.
Okay, all right. You're looking good. I'll tell you if like a fly flies into the screen or anything.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, well, first of all, Loopy, like we don't have to jump right into it, but I want to say thank you for like showing up, and I want to know, like, I want to let you know how the process was like to meet you. I literally saw in your bio it said Iridium Sports Agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that your primary like management company?
Yes.
Okay, so like I guess like a lot of different stars, not even in just in a fight game, it could be a movie star. Sometimes they have like a manager for this, a manager for that, but I guess that's your primary like management company. Eh? Okay.
Yeah.
So I reached out to them.
Maybe I should write it down there with that little microphone, I guess, in right beside. Because like if you write me on Instagram, it's I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, like
I'm very bad at it.
Yeah, you have like way more followers than they do. And you know, I bet anybody would message you like, "Hey, you know, the great fight." To them, it would be like to set something up. Possible. Yeah. But so I reached out to them. That's what I thought too. I was like, maybe Loopy's going to be really busy. So I reached out to Iridium and I said, hey, you know, I have this channel. Like, you know, I bragged a little bit. I said, I have 5,000 subscribers. Could I possibly get Loopy on? They're like, of course. That was like so easy. I was like, awesome. I was almost shocked. But I was wondering, like, for your side, how did they like set it up for you? Did they say like, yep, you're doing this, or are they like, hey, do you want to do this?
Yeah, no, they asked me, they asked me, are you free to do an interview with you on this date and this time? And then if it doesn't work, you know, oh, I can't on Tuesday, or, oh, what time? 5? Oh, okay. Or, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, like we'll just talk.
Just talk about it. And do they like show you who I am? Do they like, here's this guy's face, like this is who you like, you know, or do they show you the channel, like this is the channel, like, or is it just like a casual conversation?
Oh no, they just say, hey, can you do an interview for this guy at this time and this time and this day? And then I say yeah or no, let's do it Friday, or you know, I just say the time. But yeah, they don't like, maybe if I ask who is this guy and what, you know. But fuck, I don't really, you know, sure. Yeah. Like that's why I like it when they set it up, because I'm going to be here. But if you message me on Instagram and then if I say, yeah, whatever, I forget, but they remind me, you know, so it's better.
Yeah. Having a manager is almost like having like a parent or something, having like a mom or a dad that's like, you're doing this now, by the way. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Now I know like how it was set up on your end, and that's very interesting. So thanks for letting me know. Now I want to ask you questions. Obviously, like I want to know about the fight. Like you're a fighter. I love UFC. I love MMA, but I also want to get to know like you a little bit. I've been watching like your interviews for like the last 2 days, right? And I feel like they always talk about the same thing. But one thing that I felt wasn't talked about enough was, you grew up in Vancouver, right? Like, I think the story has been said a couple of times, but maybe I'll just reiterate it really quickly. You know, your father moved you from Aguascalientes, Mexico to Vancouver, Canada, right? When you're about 15, 14?
15. I was about to turn 15, yeah.
You're about to turn 15. How was it like growing up in Vancouver?
Are we on the interview now or no?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we are. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
It's okay. You know, it was hard in the beginning because like you are in Mexico, is different culture, is different lifestyle. Everything is different. Then you go to a different country where you don't speak the language. You don't know anyone, you know, so it was hard for quite a few years, and you pretty much start from scratch, you know. It's never easy, but at the same time, it makes you grow a lot. It makes you learn a lot. So, you know, I'm thankful for that part. And like anything, you get used to it. So eventually, after years, you get to get used to the new life. That's where you live. And then thankfully, after how many years, I was able to come back to Mexico, and now I'm here, and I love it. I'm really happy, and I get to be in both places, which is amazing. And yeah, I'm really thankful that I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. And I find, because I'm an immigrant too, right? Like, I guess my parents brought me to, I'm also in Canada. I'm in Vancouver, Canada, actually. Like, I'll just say that.
Oh.
I don't know if the management company told you. At first, I was like, hey, maybe we could set up like a in-person meet with Loopy. And then they're like, oh, she's in Guadalajara. I was like, oh, okay. But I'm also in Vancouver, Canada. I'm from like Taiwan, another country, right? So I guess like I've seen immigrants, like when they come to a place, they can either be fully assimilated, where they basically become a Canadian, or they can just, be a Mexican at heart, be a Chinese at heart, but, have the Canadian culture. Would you say like you are like fully assimilated into Canada, or you're like, a Mexican living in Canada? Like, how do you feel?
I'm a Mexican living in Canada.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Canada has opened so many doors for my family and for myself, and for my sisters. Like, it's been amazing. Maybe if I stay in Mexico, maybe I'll never meet fighting. Maybe I'll have like 4 kids now. I don't know. I was in like being in Canada, it really gives you, or just being an immigrant, period, doesn't matter where you are. It just gives you a different perspective in life, you know? Like we had to start from scratch. So makes you appreciate the hard work, makes you learn that you need to hard work to make things happen. Nothing comes easy, and now looking back and see all of the stuff that my family did, and all of the stuff that I had to do to make the stuff we had done, and then now be able to just look back and be more relaxed. That said, like, also my parents are way more relaxed. And when we first got to Canada, for example, it was a really stressful situation. But as I say, I'm thankful for that learning experience, because at the end it's just learning experience, And yeah, some have more tougher experience than other people, but at the same time, that one makes you stronger. That was make you who you are. That's what will make you move forward. And if something comes up in the future, like, I know I'm okay, I done it before, or I've been in worse situations before, or stuff like that. So I try to just think that way, just so anything that comes at me is just a little fly, that I can just go like, oh, I got this. Yeah.
You know, from what I've seen of the interview, and hopefully I got this right, but your father owned, like, was it like an ice cream store in Aguascalientes, or an ice cream shop? Is there something like he was a business owner?
Yeah, we had like ice cream shops. We had a car dealership. It was selling houses. He's a businessman, right?
Yeah, an
So
entrepreneur.
so that's what he was doing. And we were well. It was great life too. Things happen, and we had to move, have a new life, and he made that happen for us. And it wasn't easy. He also needed to start from scratch. He also needed to, he didn't had any English, none of that. So yeah, like, it's amazing. And just watching him do that, like, it really, is like a great example for me and my sisters.
Yeah. And like, when I watch you fight, when I watch you win, when I watch your attitude at these interviews, like, it's a very strong person. And I have more things to talk about how I feel about your personality later, but I want to kind of maybe like get into a little bit of a fun like turn. And so I know that like kind of your father had some businesses. He was doing some entrepreneurial stuff in Mexico, but then the cartel came, right? The cartel was like, we want some protection money. And then your father was like, whoa, let's get out of here, right? Like that's kind of like that's what happened, right? Why he brought you over to Vancouver. And I have a question about that.
What's your question?
My question is this. When you first went back to Guadalajara, right? After living in living in Vancouver and going back to Guadalajara, did anybody come up to you, any cartel members come up to you and be like, man, like, sorry about that. Like, we shouldn't have done that. Like,
that doesn't work like that. No, like, I'm great. It's great to be back in Mexico. I'm really happy. And yeah, like, we're great. I'm grateful to be back here. And yeah, I love my country. And since I came back, I have nothing but great things to say. Like, the food is great. The people is great. The country is great. Like, I just love to be here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to know something. Like, do you think you're more popular in, I guess I'm asking this because are you more popular in Mexico than in Vancouver? Do you find, like, when you walk down the street, like, most people know you in Mexico, but in Vancouver, like, do more people know you in Mexico than in Vancouver?
I want to say, I get stopped a little bit more here.
Yeah.
I would say here in Mexico, I'm from Lobo Gym, and there's Alexa Grasso, there is Irene, so people know them. And then now that I'm part of that team, it just kind of give me that exposure is whatever you say, that exposure.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also in Canada, and I don't know, I have a great following. I love it.
Yeah. And, I don't want to make it sound like, cloud is everything, exposure is everything. But I was just curious if you've ever been in Vancouver or something and you go to a restaurant with your friends and they're like, the restaurant owner's like, that's Loopy Godinez, comp her meal is free. Has that ever happened in Vancouver? Something like that.
Yeah, I think it happened like a few times. I don't have it on top of my head, but yeah, I have things happen like that, and also here too. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to know that. Now I actually have a question here, and I want to know this too, just because let's say you retire, right? Whether that's 10, 20 years down the line, like you've made it, okay? You retire. Do you think that you want to settle and make a life in Vancouver, or do you want to like make a life in Mexico? Like, where do you think you would like to live long term?
Well, honestly, back and forth. I love both countries. It's amazing. Maybe be in the summer in Vancouver and then come back here in the winter, and something like that.
Okay, so you like both countries, to be honest.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I wanted to ask something like, but this question seems so trivial now. I wanted to ask if most of your friends here, and if this is like too personal, it's fine. I don't think it is too personal, but if it is, no problem. Are most of your friends in Vancouver like, are they like Canadians, or are they also like come from immigrant background?
No, I have all mix, all kinds of culture, and yeah. Well, in Vancouver is all kinds of different people, right? So from from the whole world, yeah. There is like a big mixing pot in Vancouver. I mean, like, I find that like if I was to date somebody, like I would like to date like a Canadian or something. Me growing up like Chinese, I see like some other Chinese people here, and I get to talk to them, and they like to date like other Chinese people. But me growing up here, like I just like to date, white girls. And so I guess like that kind of, you experience that, right? Like, maybe I'll just segue into my next question. Like, how's dating life for you? How's dating life for you as a fighter right now? Oh, I don't like to talk about that.
Okay. No problem. And I want to know this too. Like, do you like to watch any movies? Like, I don't hear this ever being talked about in interviews. Do you like to watch movies?
Sometimes I don't really watch movie. I don't really watch TV. I'd rather go outdoors with my dog and just do outdoorsy stuff.
Outdoorsy stuff, like not a big TV watcher, not a big movie watcher. What about like music? Or is it like kind of the same thing?
No, like I like to listen to music when I'm driving and stuff. I don't have like the typical like, oh, I only listen to this. It's just a mix of all kinds, and I don't really have a preference.
Okay.
It's just whatever makes you smile or whatever makes you dance and sing, doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay, so it could be like top 40, are you kind of saying? Like it could be kind of like top 40 music, or you like Spanish music?
I like Spanish, preferably Spanish. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a song that like off the top of your head you can recommend? Like, because I'll probably go check it out later. The people watching this could go check it out as well. Is there a song that like you kind of like, or maybe there isn't?
I don't know. I don't have a favorite one, to be honest. I just go through the list, put it on, and then just whatever is playing is fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking about that, so you like to be more outside doing outdoorsy things, right? I think I heard in another interview you like to, walk with your dogs. Is there like a hobby that you could say that you like to do outside of fighting? Is there a hobby that you like?
Not really. It's only fighting and going for hikes with Freddie. That's pretty much.
Yeah. And you know what? Like I saw in another interview, I keep referring to other interviews, but that's just like, I just want to make sure I don't ask the same questions. But I heard that you don't really like after a fight or something, you don't go crazy with like the eating. You don't go get a chocolate cake. You don't get a big steak. But is there some dish that you really like just normally?
I'll be back here in Mexico, so I will just go by I'm going back to Vallarta, so they have like this strip, and like they have different kind of foods, and then I just like a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And then I just go and try a little bit. I love steak. I also could have like a huge, big, juicy steak. Yeah. That's one of my favorites. Yeah. In Vancouver, I love sushi. Also, I like seafood. Like not here in Mexico, I don't eat a lot of sushi, but I just eat like it's mariscos. I don't know in English how would you say it, but it's just like seafood, right? Like nice and like fresh from the sea. It's really good.
So it's just seafood? I love seafood too. What do you mean it's just seafood? Mariscosa? You said?
It's called mariscos. So mariscos is just all the seafood together, and they have different kind of dishes. I don't know how to say it in English. Like it's hard to explain. But if you type mariscos in your Google, like you will see what do I mean?
Okay, and they have like one type of like seasoning with like any type of seafood, or it could be different types of seasoning with that.
Oh,
dish.
It's different. It's different. It's all kind of different. Yeah.
Okay. I'll certainly type it out, mariscos, and I bet I can find it as well. And so wait, you mentioned like, did you say Puerto Vallarta?
Mm-hmm.
You go. Is that near Guadalajara? I'm sorry. That's near?
It's about 4 hours. 4 hours drive. Yeah.
And what would make you go there? Because you're training for the fight. You're at Lobo Gym. Like, what would make you go to a different city? Like on the weekends?
Well, it's a beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you would go there like, oh, I see. It would be nothing for you to go there in the day and then come back or something like that, or go there.
Not during the day, but like I'm doing after my fight.
Oh, I see. And you go there for the hike, and there's some food there, and then you enjoy the day and then come back?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to stay there for a few days, yeah.
And are you somebody that, like, has traveled all over Mexico or make it a point to find out everything about Mexico, or it's not, like, on the top of your priority list?
No, definitely. When I'm here, I try to go. Maybe I don't go super far, but there is like a lot of little towns around this area where I'm staying in Guadalajara that I go, and I get to see different little towns, try different kind of foods. to see different views. It's amazing.
Yeah. And so like the bigger cities you've probably been, like Oaxaca, Mexico City, Tijuana. Have you been to all these bigger cities?
When I was here, like when I was younger, yeah, my dad used to take us to all those places. But since I've been here, I only been to Mexico City, Guadalajara, Puerto Vallarta, Aguascalientes, and that's it so far. But I will be traveling more in Mexico, because Mexico is so beautiful, has so many different places, so many different styles of foods and that I don't even know exist. So
yeah,
I gotta explore this, like that part of Mexico. I'm excited for that.
yeah. I was in Mexico. I was primarily in Mexico City, right? That's where I spent the longest time, and it does feel like Mexico is so much more freer than Canada, and Canada's good. Canada's great, but Mexico is like so much freer. Like when I was over there, there's like this place in Oaxaca where they'll literally sell like drugs. And I guess maybe that's more for like the tourists, but just seeing that they're able to do something like that, it's very like freeing. It's very, it's like not very restrictive,
Yeah, it's free, it's a free country.
Yeah. I find that there's not a lot of like restrictions on life. You can live there and you can kind of like be yourself without people kind of worrying about maybe like what some people might say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like that about Mexico for sure. I have to go back there. I'll be honest, I don't know what I ate, but then I got this like really bad case of like stomach ache, and I had to cut my trip early. But I'll be back.
Awesome.
On this other podcast, right? I heard you say, once you get into a I don't know what to do mindset and you're just fighting to fight, you're going to get hurt. And that was in the context of, do you think you'll just fight this fighter after that? And you're saying, no, you sort of pick your fights intentionally, right? Do you find that that's like a mindset that you've always grown up with and always been given? Or did you have to learn that as you learned fighting, that was cultivated through your fighting career?
What do you mean? I don't get it.
Like, I suppose when I heard you say, when you get into a fight, just to fight the next fight, you're going to get hurt, right? I took that as when you get into a fight, you want to get into a fight with intentionality. You don't want to get into a fight maybe just for a paycheck or your mind's not really there and you're just taking the next fight. Have you always grown up with that mindset of being intentional with your actions?
Well, since when I had the experience of moving from a different country and move my whole life, that give you a whole different perspective of life, and like if UFC, one of the biggest organization, is coming to you to say, hey, do you want this fight? And then would you like to fight the next weekend? Or, all of that. Like, of course, you had to take those opportunities. There's so many people that would love to be fighting at that league, that they will probably never have the opportunity or to do that. So I get to fight every weekend or whenever they ask me, like, of course, I want to take it. So you got to take the opportunities that, comes to you.
Yeah. Okay. How do I phrase this question here? You've been in the UFC for a while now, and it's a very, in my opinion, a very positive career so far, and not even so far. It's just been a very positive career, in my opinion. Do you find that your mindset in doing something and getting so far in whatever it is that you're doing, have you always had that mindset? Like, is it just easy for you to kind of be like, oh, I'm going to do something and I'm going to be good at it and go far in it? Or is it like, I'm just going to have fun, and then when I stop having fun, I'm going to stop doing it? Like, what is your mindset in terms of like how far it's taken you in this career?
Well, my goal is obviously to be a champion, right? Yeah. So that's the goal. And whatever it takes, whatever you have to do, I want to do it. And so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's just part of my journey, and I got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm lucky to have this job, and it's not just my job, it's my hobby, is what I love to do. So like, it's easy.
Yeah. Good to hear. Now, I don't want to ask you a question because I'm not as strong as you, but I mean, I'll ask it and see how it goes. Are there ever any days where it's kind of hard? You're like, my ankle's kind of sore. Like maybe I'll sleep a little longer. Like, are there still days like that for you?
Oh yeah, of course. I think that's normal. I think you can escape that part of the game but that's the days that matter the most if you're gonna go train, because everybody is gonna go run if you feel fresh and great. Everybody is gonna go do things when they're fresh and they feel great. But the days where you don't feel as fresh or as great, obviously you have to be smart with that also. Like if it's an injury that you need to rest, of course you're gonna take the rest. It's more smart if you take the rest, and it's obviously depends of the situations. But if you're just tired and feeling lazy, you're gonna go to the gym.
Yeah. Okay, I get you. Sometimes I listen to men athletes or men influencer athletes, and they're like, oh, even if you're injured, you train twice as hard. But that's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, because it's not smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for setting us straight here. Okay, I have a bit of a funny question. I'm just gonna ask it. It's meant to be funny, right? I keep prefacing my questions. I think you're totally fine with it, but it's a funny question. In WMMA, when you fight another fighter, right? And let's say there's some bad blood. Okay, I don't think you have much bad blood with anyone, but let's say there's some bad blood. Okay. Do you ever think to yourself oh, I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna strike and I'm gonna fuck up her pretty face? Do you have those thoughts or no, not at all?
How I approach that is think cold, don't put emotions into that, because that's not smart. Yeah. But just have bad intentions,
Don't have bad intentions or do?
Yeah, do.
Do have bad intentions. Oh, yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
But obviously always thinking cold and be calculated with those bad intentions, because you cannot just throw yourself with the bad intentions, because they also have bad intentions and they also been training. So you have to be smart to apply those rules.
Wow. You're like a silent killer. You're that was some wisdom that someone has to pick up, and I absorbed some of that. Thank you very much. Okay, now I have something to say. All right, and you have the best team around you, for dieting, for exercise, for decompressing after exercise. But I have a secret, okay, that I like to share with you, and I wonder if you have already done it or know about the secret. Okay, but lately I've been sleeping without a pillow. I'm just lying my head down on a mattress flat, no pillow, and it feels great. And I woke up feeling even more refreshed. Have you ever done that before?
No, I haven't. I always sleep with a pillow.
You always sleep with a pillow? Okay. Maybe after the fight, when there's no consequence to you, if you have a sore neck for a day or two, try sleeping without a pillow, and you could potentially really like it. You could potentially really like it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. And thank you for, coming on here. I really appreciate it. I don't think there's much I need to say about the fight. Everybody knows it's coming up August 3rd. Mackenzie Dern, huge fight. I don't even need to say much about it. Is there anything that you want to say about it? I'm going to be tuning in for sure. And I'm going to be watching the hell out of that fight. Is there anything you want to talk about for that fight?
No, I'm really excited, and thank you for having me, and just thank you everyone that has been supporting me. Yeah. And, I'm going to put on a show, and And I see you guys August 3rd.
Yeah. Yeah. Loopy, you look like the type of person that I don't need to say much about it. I'm just going to do it and let the results talk for themselves. So I'm going to be patiently waiting for that fight.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Loopy.